First contact in the storm. The storm came without warning. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation window of Research Station Delta 7, watching as violet lightning split the alien sky. The atmosphere of Nova Petra wasn't supposed to generate storms of this magnitude. At least, that's what all their atmospheric models had predicted. But after 18 months on this frontier world, Sarah had learned that theoretical models rarely captured the full scope of reality. The wind howled against the reinforced plasteel walls, carrying with it fragments of crystal that glinted like stars in the darkness. Their impacts created an eerie melody, a haunting symphony that echoed through the station's corridors. Sarah checked her tablet again, frowning at the readings. The crystalline content in the atmosphere had increased by 300% in the last hour alone. Dr. Chen, the station's AI chimed in, its voice carefully modulated to project calm. We're detecting unusual energy signatures approximately 2 kilometers east of the station. The pattern doesn't match any known geological or atmospheric phenomena in our database. Sarah moved to the main console, her fingers dancing across the holographic display. The energy signature pulsed on the screen, a rhythmic pattern that seemed almost deliberate. "Show me the spectral analysis," she commanded, her scientific curiosity overwhelming her caution. The display shifted, revealing wavelengths she'd never seen before. They weren't random. They couldn't be. The pattern was too structured, too precise. "Track the source," she ordered, already reaching for her environmental suit. "Dr. Chen," the AI's voice carried a note of concern, "colony protocols strictly prohibit external excursions during severe weather events." Sarah paused, her hand hovering over the suit's helmet. The AI was right. She could lose her position for this, maybe even face criminal charges. But something about those energy readings nagged at her. They were weakening, deteriorating in a way that reminded her of a failing life support system. "Log that I'm proceeding under Emergency Protocol 7 Alpha," she said, sealing her suit. "Possible first contact scenario with immediate life-threatening conditions." It was a stretch of the regulations, but it would give her legal coverage if she was wrong. The airlock cycle seemed to take forever. When the outer door finally opened, the storm hit her with physical force. The crystal-laden wind battered against her suit, each impact registering as a tiny ping on her heads-up display. Her suit's stabilizers worked overtime as she pushed forward, following the energy signature's coordinates. The landscape of Nova Petra was normally beautiful in its alienness, rolling hills of deep purple vegetation under a lavender sky. But the storm had transformed it into something apocalyptic. Lightning illuminated everything in stark bursts, casting sharp shadows that seemed to move of their own accord. The energy signature grew stronger as she approached, and with it came a sound that penetrated even through her suit's insulation, a deep, resonant tone that made her bones vibrate. As she crested a hill, she saw it. In a shallow crater lay a creature that defied explanation. It was roughly the size of a small shuttle, its body composed of what appeared to be living crystal. The crystal formations pulsed with internal light, creating patterns that rippled across its surface like waves on water. But the pulses were weakening, growing further apart. The creature was dying. Sarah approached carefully, her suit's sensors working overtime to analyze the being. Its structure was unlike anything in their xenobiological database, a silicon-based life form, but with complexity that shouldn't have been possible according to known science. As she drew closer, the creature's crystalline surface shifted, forming what looked like sensory organs. It was watching her. The resonant tone changed, becoming more focused, directed at her. Not just a sound, a communication attempt. "I'm here to help," Sarah said, knowing her words were meaningless to the creature, but hoping her intent might somehow carry through. She activated her suit's universal translator, though she doubted it would be of any use with such an alien form of communication. The creature's surface rippled again, and suddenly a holographic display appeared in the air between them. The images moved too quickly for Sarah to process, but one thing was clear: they were deliberate, organized. Data. The creature was trying to show her something. A particularly violent gust of wind sent Sarah staggering, and she noticed that the crystal fragments in the air were being drawn to the creature, absorbing into its structure. But it wasn't enough. Whatever damage it had sustained was too severe. The holographic display flickered, then stabilized on a single image, a geometric pattern that pulsed in sync with the creature's weakening light. Sarah's tablet beeped. It had recognized the pattern as mathematically significant, a prime number sequence, but arranged in a way that couldn't be natural. This wasn't just a silicon-based life form. This was an intelligent being, one capable of complex mathematical communication. Sarah made her decision. She opened her emergency kit and pulled out her portable field generator. It wasn't meant for this, but if she could modify it to match the creature's energy signature. "I need you to hold on," she said, working quickly to reconfigure the generator. "Just hold on." The creature's light pulsed once, stronger than before. Understanding. Hope. Sarah couldn't be sure, but she kept working as the storm raged around them. She had no idea what this being was or why it was here, but she knew one thing with absolute certainty. She couldn't let it die. Not when it might represent humanity's first contact with a truly alien intelligence. As she worked, she didn't notice that the crystal fragments in the air had stopped their random patterns. They now moved with purpose, forming a protective barrier around both her and the creature. The storm howled, but within their crystal cocoon, Sarah continued her desperate race against time, unaware that her actions would soon change the course of human history. The generator hummed to life, its energy signature modulated to match the creature's own resonance. As she connected it, the creature's light steadied, then began to grow stronger. The holographic display shifted again, showing new patterns that Sarah somehow knew represented gratitude. But as the creature stabilized, Sarah realized this was only the beginning. The real questions remained. What was this being? Why was it here? And most importantly, what was it trying to protect? The storm continued to rage, but within their crystal shelter, a new chapter in human-alien relations was about to unfold, one that would challenge everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the universe. "Let's get you somewhere safe," Sarah said, already planning how she would explain this to Station Command. "And then we can figure out what you're trying to tell us." The creature's light pulsed in response, and Sarah could have sworn it formed a pattern that looked almost like a smile. The Crystal Sanctuary. Getting a 10-meter crystalline being into Research Station Delta 7 proved more challenging than Sarah had anticipated. The creature, despite its massive size, helped by reconfiguring its structure, condensing itself into a more manageable form. Even so, Sarah had to override 3 different security protocols just to get it through the cargo bay doors. "Dr. Chen," the station's AI announced as they entered the main research bay, "Colony Director Matthews is demanding an immediate explanation for your actions." He's quite emphatic about it. Sarah connected her portable generator to the station's power grid, stabilizing the creature's energy field. "Tell him I'll report in 1 hour. Emergency protocols give me that much time." The creature's surface rippled, projecting another holographic display. This time, the images were clearer, complex mathematical equations interwoven with what appeared to be star charts. Sarah's tablet worked overtime trying to process the data. "You're trying to tell me something important, aren't you?" she asked, adjusting the scanning equipment. "Something worth risking your life to protect." The creature's response came as a series of crystalline tones that made the air vibrate. To Sarah's amazement, her tablet's translation matrix suddenly activated. "RCHIV/MENORI/LEADJCT equals preservation priority. Danger equals MMINENT. Truest equals REQUIRED/calculated risk." The translator's working. Sarah moved closer, fascinated. "You've adapted to our communication protocols that quickly." "Adaptation equals necessary. Time equals limited. PURS UERS equals APPUROACH. Jiggy. The last word made Sarah's blood run cold. Pursuers. There are others looking for you. The creature's surface darkened momentarily, and new images appeared in the holographic display. They showed massive ships of an unfamiliar design, their forms angular and predatory. Sarah watched in horror as the ships decimated what appeared to be crystal cities floating in space. We equals GUARIDIANS. PERPOC equals PREZERV /QLTUR. Hunters equals seek destruction of all RCORDS. You're not just a random visitor, Sarah realized, her mind racing. You're a refugee, a keeper of your people's history. The Guardian's surface brightened in confirmation. More data streamed through the holographic display, images of a civilization that boggled the mind. Cities made of living crystal, ships that sailed through space on solar winds, beings that communicated through light and mathematics. But throughout the display, Sarah noticed a pattern. Your people, they're gone, aren't they? These aren't just records, they're all that's left. TURECT. I equals Last Guardian. Mission equals PROTECT AARCHIV. Until worthy I UCCESSORS FOUND. Before Sarah could respond, the station's alarms began blaring. Director Matthews' voice cut through the noise. Dr. Chen, we're detecting an unidentified vessel entering the system. It's not responding to hails, and its configuration matches nothing in our database. The Guardian's surface pulsed with urgent patterns. Hunters equals FOUND me. Choice equals yours. HID/protect RCHIV equals riskate to your POPL. Sarah looked at the magnificent being before her, at the wealth of knowledge and culture it carried. Then she thought of the colony, of the thousands of lives that might be at risk if she chose to help. The station's main screen activated, showing the approaching ship. Its design matched those from the Guardian's memories, all sharp angles and predatory intent. It was massive, easily dwarfing the colony's defensive capabilities. Dr. Chen, Matthew's voice was tense. Whatever you brought into the station, is it responsible for this? Sarah placed her hand against the Guardian's crystalline surface. The beam's light pulsed gently beneath her palm, and in that moment, she felt a connection that transcended species. This wasn't just about protecting knowledge anymore. It was about standing against the deliberate destruction of an entire civilization's legacy. Director, she said, her voice steady, I need you to trust me. What we have here is quite possibly the most important discovery in human history, and we need to protect it. Risk equals ILNAACETABLE. DEPR2R equals POSSIBLE. Your safety equals PRIVORITY. No, Sarah said firmly, already formulating a plan. You came here for a reason. You chose us. Now we choose to help you. She turned to the main console, her fingers flying over the controls. Director, I'm sending you data that proves we're dealing with a first contact scenario. More importantly, we're dealing with an attempt at cultural genocide. If we don't take a stand here, we're complicit. The Guardian's surface rippled with what Sarah now recognized as surprise. Humans equals UNEXPCTED. QRAG equals REMARKABLE. HOP equals JUSTFIEU. That's one thing you'll learn about humans, Sarah said, activating the station's defensive protocols. We don't like bullies, no matter what galaxy they're from. The hunter ship drew closer, its intent clear. But within Research Station Delta 7, Human and Guardian prepared to make their stand, not just for survival, but for the preservation of something far more precious. The memory of an entire civilization. As emergency sirens wailed, and the colony mobilized for potential conflict, Sarah realized that the storm that had brought the Guardian to her was nothing compared to what was coming. But sometimes, she thought, The most important choices were the ones that seemed impossible at first glance. The Guardian's light pulsed in harmony with the station's power grid, and Sarah knew that whatever came next, this was humanity's moment to prove itself worthy of the trust placed in them. The hunters were coming, but they would find that their prey was no longer alone. Echoes of extinction. The hunter ship hung in orbit like a predatory blade, its angular silhouette casting an ominous shadow over Nova Petra's lavender sky. Within Research Station Delta 7, Sarah Chen and the Guardian prepared for a confrontation that would determine the fate of an entire lost civilization. "Talk to me," Sarah said, interfacing her tablet with the Guardian's crystalline matrix. "Why are they hunting you?" The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a complex history. Images of crystal cities dissolved into scenes of systematic destruction. The hunters, a species Sarah's translation matrix identified as the Vorax, weren't just destroying the civilization. They were systematically erasing it. Ninovali G equals TREAT. RCHIV equals Lilist Surviving or ECORT. VORIVX equals QUL2RALE Ledman A Taurus. They want to completely wipe out any trace of your people, Sarah realized. The Guardian's light pulsed in confirmation. But why? The next image was shocking. The Guardian's civilization had been advanced, perhaps too advanced. They possessed technology that could manipulate fundamental universal laws, creating and destroying entire star systems through pure mathematical precision. The Vorax saw this potential as an existential threat. PREVNTION equals they are emotigation. GENOCID equals they are SOLUTION. Colony Director Matthews burst into the research bay, his face a mixture of fear and determination. "Dr. Chen, our long-range sensors show the Vorax ship is charging weapons. They're not interested in communication." The Guardian's surface rippled with urgent patterns. Its crystalline structure began to reconfigure, creating complex defensive configurations that Sarah's scientific mind could barely comprehend. RCHIV must survive. Human assistance equals UNEXPCTDVARIAVLE. "We're not leaving you," Sarah said firmly. "Your knowledge is too important." The station's defensive systems were woefully inadequate against the Vorax technology. But the Guardian seemed to be calculating something, its internal matrices shifting rapidly. Solution equals COLLABORATIE. Human creativity plus Guardian technology equals POTNTIL. Suddenly, the Guardian began interfacing directly with the station's systems. Holographic interfaces erupted across every display, showing complex mathematical sequences that seemed to bend the very fabric of computational logic. "What are you doing?" Sarah watched in amazement as the station's mundane research equipment transformed. Quantum entanglement drives meant for microscopic research now hummed with impossible energy. Computational matrices designed for atmospheric analysis now projected defensive fields that defied known physics. The Vorax ship began its attack run. Energy weapons that could slice through planetary shields powered up, targeting the research station with surgical precision. But something unexpected happened. The station's defensive systems, now augmented by Guardian technology, didn't just defend. They anticipated. Each incoming weapon was neutralized milliseconds before impact, the energy redirected and dissipated through intricate quantum tunnels. "Impossible," Matthews whispered. Adaptation equals survival in ECHANASM. Human potential equals undeoristimated. The battle became a dance of mathematical precision. Guardian technology merged with human engineering, creating a defensive network that was more than the sum of its parts. The Vorax, expecting an easy elimination, found themselves outmaneuvered by a combination of alien sophistication and human unpredictability. Sarah realized they weren't just defending. They were sending a message. We are here. We while protect knowledge survives. As the Vorax ship retreated, its weapon systems mysteriously corrupted, Sarah understood the true nature of the Guardian's mission. It wasn't just preserving its own civilization's history. It was searching for a species capable of understanding, of learning, of protecting knowledge itself. And it had found that species in humanity. The crystal being's light pulsed one final message. Trust equals EARNED. FUTUR equals SHARED. Outside, the storm that had first brought the Guardian to Nova Petra began to clear, revealing a sky filled with possibilities. The choice, the aftermath of the Vorax attack, transformed Research Station Delta 7 into a nexus of unprecedented scientific discovery. Sarah Chen stood at the center of a storm of activity, with the Guardian's crystalline form now fully integrated into the station's core systems. Colonial leadership was divided. Some saw the Guardian as humanity's greatest scientific opportunity. Others viewed it as an unprecedented security risk. We cannot fully understand its capabilities, argued Commander Elena Rodriguez during an emergency council meeting. One miscalculation could expose our entire colony to destruction. The Guardian's response came through Sarah's interface, a complex mathematical projection that translated into simple terms. Mutual survival equals cooperative ESTORATGY. Director Matthews leaned forward, scrutinizing the holographic data. Dr. Chen, explain what we're seeing. Sarah took a deep breath. The Guardian isn't just sharing technology. It's offering a symbiotic knowledge transfer. Its archive contains technological advancements that could revolutionize human understanding of quantum mechanics, energy production, and interstellar communication. The data streams were extraordinary. Mathematical sequences that could solve energy crisis challenges, computational models that could predict planetary climate shifts with impossible accuracy, and communication protocols that transcended traditional linguistic barriers. But the price of this knowledge was collaboration. The Guardian made it clear. Protection meant participation. Choice equals CRITICL. Humanity equals PUTENTIALSUCCESSORS. Risk equals NICESSAR. The Vorax would return. Not immediately, but they would investigate why their elimination mission had failed. The Guardian's very existence was a provocation to a species dedicated to cultural erasure. Sarah understood the deeper implication. This wasn't just about technological exchange. It was about proving humanity's worthiness as custodians of an ancient legacy. We need to demonstrate that we're different, she told the council. That we understand the responsibility of preserving knowledge, not just acquiring it. The Guardian's crystalline form pulsed, projecting historical records of its civilization, scenes of incredible beauty, cities of living mathematics, beings who communicated through pure thought, technological marvels that made human achievements look primitive. And then the fall. The systematic destruction by the Vorax. The desperate attempt to preserve a single archive. This archive. Commander Rodriguez's hard exterior softened. They wiped out an entire civilization because they feared its potential. FAFIR equals UNIVRSAL2ONSTNT. Understanding equals RARE ACHIEVMENT. The station's systems, now partially controlled by Guardian technology, began displaying potential defensive and exploratory scenarios, not just for Nova Petra's protection, but for humanity's potential expansion into the galaxy. Sarah realized they were being tested, not through traditional means, but through an intricate evaluation of human potential, creativity, and ethical consideration. The Guardian wasn't just offering technology. It was offering a chance to become something more. As the council deliberated, the crystalline being's light continued to pulse, a silent witness to humanity's most critical decision. Protect the archive, embrace the unknown, and potentially transform their entire species, or reject the opportunity and remain confined to their current understanding. The choice would define humanity's future. Legacy of Two Worlds. 5 years after the Vorax encounter, humanity stood transformed. The Guardian's archive had become humanity's most closely guarded and revolutionary resource. Research stations across human-controlled space now incorporated crystalline interface technologies, pushing the boundaries of scientific understanding. Sarah Chen, now director of Sinological Integration, stood aboard the research vessel Prometheus. The ship, a hybrid of human engineering and Guardian technology, represented their collaborative achievement. Potential equals REALIZET. Priority nearship equals ISUCCESSFUL. The Vorax had returned, but not as conquerors. The intricate defense network developed through human-Guardian collaboration had fundamentally altered the galactic power dynamics. Species that once operated through destruction now found themselves negotiating. "We're not just protecting knowledge," Sarah explained to a group of young researchers. "We're demonstrating that intelligence isn't about technological superiority, but about understanding and cooperation." The Guardian, now fully integrated into human technological infrastructure, had become more than just an archive. It was a living bridge between civilizations, a testament to the power of mutual respect and shared discovery. Holographic displays tracked humanity's exponential technological growth. Energy production had become nearly limitless. Planetary terraformation moved from theoretical concept to practical application. Quantum communication networks connected distant human colonies with unprecedented efficiency. But the true victory was cultural. Humanity had learned that knowledge wasn't a weapon to be hoarded or feared, but a resource to be shared, understood, and respected. Li JC equals QONTYNUET. HOP equals GUST. As the Prometheus approached a newly discovered star system, Sarah looked out at the infinite possibilities. The storm that had first brought the Guardian to Nova Petra seemed like a distant memory, a pivotal moment that had changed everything. They were no longer just humans. They were Guardians.